to the Porch broadcast. Well, we're in the studio once again instead of out on the porch, but the wind's blowing pretty hard out there the last few days, and you're not able to hear much out there, so we'll just do another one in the studio. Looking forward to getting it done back out on the porch again, but the weather's just going to have to get better. As always, here at the porch, we like to do what we call our porch talk, where we just go on and we talk about life and some things that happen in life and how you can make it better, how you can recognize problems and come up with solutions. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to start out by using an analogy as a framework to take us into the story. So in life, you can look at things a lot of different ways, but we're going to look at them this way this morning. We're going to look at our lives as a ship, and the world is the ocean, and we are the captain of the ship. Now, looking at it that way helps us because we understand that there is a responsibility on our part to guide our lives to the place where we want them to be. And the world is not always necessarily cooperative in that. So that takes me to my story part of this thing. I think you'll enjoy the story. It has a lot of value to me because it has a deep psychological importance to me in this story, and you'll see that as we go along. Okay, so I lived out on the West Coast for probably about 15 years, and I like to deep sea fish. So I ended up buying a small cabin cruiser, and my brother and I would go out there and fish in the ocean. It was a lot of fun. You catch all kinds of fish, and I never was much of a fisherman, but my brother loved it, and I like taking him out there and just watch him catch fish. I caught a lot of fish too out there, and it was fun, but more fun watching him than it was catching myself. So anyway, on that ocean there where we lived, I think they said that was the third most dangerous bay to get out of. And in 1962, my dad and his friend was actually coming back in that bay after a fishing trip, and they actually drowned right there on what they call the bar. And so this story does have a lot of emotional value and impact on me, and I'm going to tell it anyway to get a point across. Besides, you like sharing stories sometimes. Anyway, what I learned when I bought that cabin cruiser, that I needed to really know what I was doing. That ocean's pretty unforgiving. A lot of people die out there every year, and right there in that particular place, at one time, I think there was 9 people drowned on the same day out there. So, give you some idea of how dangerous it was, and usually several every year died right there. But anyway, my brother and I, we'd go out of that particular bay and go fishing because that's where we lived. That's where we put our boat in. And we put our boat in, we went out, and one of the things as captain that I've learned, you sit at the mouth of that bay, just on the upper side of the bar, they call it. It's a big sandbar that's under the water, and waves will hit that bar and they'll come up real big. And you sit there and you watch those waves and you time those waves, and when you figure out about where they're going to calm down at, you throttle your boat for everything it's got, and you shoot out across that bar out into the open ocean where the water settles down quite a bit. And that's what I was doing. And I watched those waves and I timed them, and I'd done this a number of times, so I knew how to do it. And just as they settled down and I caught a place that I thought I could throttle in and get out there, I throttled in the boat. Well, when I throttled the boat to head out there, what happened to us was we had a series of what they call sneaker waves come in. Let me see if I can explain to you what that is. That's waves that you just simply can't calculate. They're just exactly what I described. They sneak up on you. They're sneaker waves, and they have taken lots of lives out there. Well, just as I throttled and hit that bar, a series of those things hit me. 3 of them went over the boat and was swamping our boat. We were beginning to sink. And this all happened in a few short seconds, but it takes a little while to tell the story. Well, we were seeing what we call green water. What that means is your boat, every one of those waves that hit you sucks you completely under the water. And you look out the windshield and all you see is just water. It's like a submarine. You're totally underwater. Now, my boat being a cabin cruiser had a top on it, so we're not getting wet. We're inside, but those waves are going over the top of my boat and into the transom and swamping the boat, sinking it. Well, third one hit us, nothing but green water. And my brother looked over at me and he was hanging on to the dash of the boat. There was a safety bar there. And he very solemnly said, Paul, are we going to make it? And the only answer I had was this. I said, Kenny, I don't know. Well, I knew that about one more wave and we were at the bottom of the ocean. And you may say, well, couldn't you just swim out? Well, that water out there is so cold that you got just minutes and your muscles seize up and you just can't swim. You can't move your muscles and you just drown. And if that don't get you, which it will, then just the intensity and the size of the waves will keep you swamped under the water and keep you held under till you drown anyway. So that it's really, if your boat goes down, you're done. Been rare few that have gotten out of there alive. And anyway, so third wave hit us and we're going into the fourth one. And I was right at the bottom of that wave bow. It just creates a bow as those waves come in separately. And we were right at the bottom of it. Now, as a good captain, you know to keep your bow into the waves to keep your boat from sinking. But in this case, we were already sinking. And I did something that I wouldn't advise anybody to do unless they just thought it was the only thing I could do, and that was the case for me. I knew the power of my boat. I had a very powerful engine in it, and I knew it'd turn on a dime. And I throttled into that boat and cut the steering wheel at the same time just as hard as I could go. And that boat just spun around in that bow. And that next wave, the fourth one, hit it. It hit it in the transom, but instead of going over the transom, it went under the transom and lifted that boat up like a surfer. And it just surfed us right back into the bay where it was, water was calm. We were very fortunate. I'd say that very possibly that probably was a God thing right there. But anyway, that's what we did. And I say all that and I tell this story to make the point. Number one is I had to know what I was doing. I had to educate myself on what that world or that ocean out there was capable of. Number two, I had to educate myself on what that boat was capable of. And number three is I had to execute some action with all of that knowledge. And that's where we are in life every time. You can know everything there is to know and then just stand idly by and watch your boat sink and watch your life go downhill in a hurry. And you can learn what to do and then you can put action to it. Act like the captain of your ship. Don't look at somebody across the boat there holding on to a bar that don't do anything and expect them to get you out of it. You're the one that's got to get you out of it. And that's what I had to do. That's the story of the whole thing. That's the way life is. You got to throttle into it. You got to turn your steering wheel the way you want to go, and you got to go. And sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. But there's one thing for sure. If you don't do anything, the waves will take you under and you're done for. Well, guys, I know that's just seemingly I would say a silly little story, except that it just has a lot of meaning to me and my brother because my dad drowned right there in that very same place in 1962. I mean, we were either right on top of where he died or within a few feet of it. So this was important. Now, I'm sad to have to say that about my dad dying there, but they went out in a boat that was too small and it just didn't make it back in. Well, if you're going to make choices in life, try to make the best ones you can. It's all you can do. And then put your hand on the wheel, throttle that engine, go in a direction. Very likely you'll get there, but you got to do it. Okay, guys, we here at the Porch love you. Again, we do these talks because we want to help people, and we hope that we are helping people. And if we are helping, consider subscribing to the channel, hitting like, leaving us a comment, sharing this video with others. May God bless. Have a good day.